What do you know about the Amazons? For most of us, the image that comes to mind is probably a tall, fierce warrior, maybe on horseback, bow and arrow ready. We think of Wonder Woman, of Xena, warrior princess. We think of strength, independence, and a society of women who didn't need men. And while all of that is part of their legend, there's a much deeper, more complex story to tell about the Amazons and what they represent for femininity. Let's start with the basics. In Greek mythology, the Amazons were a nation of all-female warriors. They were legendary for their skill in combat, their equestrian abilities, and their fiercely independent spirit. They lived apart from men, governed themselves, and were often depicted as equals, or even superiors, to the greatest Greek heroes. Think about that for a second. In ancient Greece, a society where women had very few rights and were mostly confined to the home, the idea of the Amazons was revolutionary. It was a fantasy, a cautionary tale, and maybe even a secret admiration all rolled into one. The Greeks were fascinated and a little bit scared of them. Heroes like Heracles, Theseus, and Achilles all had legendary battles against Amazon queens like Hippolyta and Penthesilea. But here's the interesting part. These weren't just simple good versus evil stories. Often, the myths show a level of respect and even romantic tension between the Greek heroes and the Amazon queens. It suggests that the Greeks saw them not as monsters, but as a different kind of ideala, powerful, untamable form of femininity. So were the Amazons real? For centuries, historians thought they were pure myth. But then, archaeology started telling a different story, in the steppes of Eurasia, from modern-day Ukraine to Russia. Archaeologists began uncovering ancient burial mounds, inside, they found skeletons buried with weapon swords, daggers, bows, and arrows. For a long time, they assumed these were male warriors. But with the advent of DNA testing, they got a huge surprise. A significant number of these warriors were female. These were the Scythian women. They were real-life horse-riding, arrow-shooting women who lived around the same time and in the same general area as the myths described. They had battle injuries. They were buried with the honors of a warrior. While they probably weren't a society of only women, it shows that the concept of a warrior woman wasn't just a fantasy. It was a reality that inspired the Greek legends. These women weren't just fighting. They were mothers, leaders, and fully realized individuals who broke the mold of what a woman was supposed to be. This brings us back to femininity. For so long, femininity has been associated with being soft, gentle, and nurturing, and those are wonderful qualities. But the story of the Amazons, both mythical and real, reminds us that femininity is so much bigger than that. It can also be strong, fierce, independent, and powerful. It's about being a leader, a protector, a survivor. It's about a woman defining her own life and her own worth, not by a man's standards, but by her own. The Amazon archetype challenges us to expand our definition of what it means to be a woman. It tells us that you can be both a warrior and a woman. You can be strong and compassionate. You can lead armies and you can love deeply. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about embracing all the different facets of your own power. So, the next time you think of the Amazons, don't just see them as mythical fighters. See them as a symbol of the incredible, multifaceted power of femininity. They represent the strength that has always existed in women, a strength that sometimes society tries to suppress, but which can never truly be extinguished. It's a legacy that continues to inspire women today to be their own heroes. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. See you next time.